On this episode of the HyperFast Agent Show, we have an amazing guest that's a top real estate agent selling over 100 homes a year and one of the top coaches in the real estate industry. She's actually done $7.4 million in revenue from coaching in the last 2 years, has helped hundreds of students get started, get their business to the next level, and she is just doing amazing stuff. I am excited to welcome to the show, Krista Mashore. All right, welcome to the show, Krista. I'm super excited to have you. I was on your show a while back, and that was a lot of fun. So I know this is going to be awesome. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Dan. I'm really excited. I appreciate it. I like what you guys put out. I listen to you all the time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Before we dive into all the amazing stuff that we're going to talk about today and what you're doing with your real estate business, what you're doing with your coaching business, why don't you give the listeners a little bit about you, a little bit of background on who you are and how you got to what you're doing today.
Yeah. So hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you listening. I have been in real estate for 19 years. I've been in the top 1% of realtors nationwide, I think 18 out of the 19 years. And I've sold over 2,000 homes myself. That's not like with a huge team. That's pretty much with me and a marketing assistant and a transaction coordinator. Just recently, over the past few years, I've actually added more people to my team because my business model has changed. Now, I'm the sort of the face of my real estate company, and I spend about 5% of my time, maybe 10% of my time on my real estate business so that I'm basically in charge of my team, making sure that we're doing all the things that we're promising our clients. I'm the one that people are going after, but my team actually goes on listing presentations, meets with buyers and sellers, and I'm just sort of the face, if that makes sense. And now I am coaching. So I've been coaching agents and local professionals from across the country for about 2.5 years now. We actually utilizing the strategies that I teach my students to do, and the same strategy that I utilize to be in the top 1% of agents is what I coach on. And it's what has helped me go from zero to $7.4 million in 25 months in my coaching business.
Wow, that's awesome. That's like a huge start in the coaching business, and I'm sure we'll dive into that more later. But I want to dive into the team because it's really interesting to me. You know, I read your book when it came out, and I see it behind you. So the one over your right shoulder.
Sell 100 homes a year. How we use engagement marketing, technology, and lead gen to sell 100 plus homes a year every year. This is it. Yeah,
so that is a great book for anyone out there. They're in real estate, or really it applies to a lot of different business models and industries. So it's not just useful for real estate agents. But what I find really interesting about your business is, you know, you're doing high volume, but with not a ton of people. And I think there's, you know, sometimes with Keri and I on our team, people get like intimidated, you know, because we got a lot of people. And the way you're doing it, I think is really, really interesting. And I think, you know, it's something that a lot of solo agents out there could get to pretty quickly, because you're not running huge overhead or big payroll. So let's talk a little bit about how it's structured. And then the other thing is I want to talk about the time, like the time it took you to get there, number one, but number two, like the time you're spending on it today, because selling 100 homes is amazing, you know, in a year. Like that's a amazing feat, but to do it with just, you know, very, very few people, and you know, you said you spend like 5% of your time in it now. So let's
now. So like my best year in real estate, I sold 169 homes, and that was just with me, a licensed transaction coordinator, and an assistant. right? And I operated that way for years and years. And we sold anywhere 120, 149, 169, like just with me and those two people, right? I always had an assistant and a marketing person. My first year in the business, I sold 69 homes my first year, and it was just me, 100% all me. That was crazy times, right? I wanted to go boom. And it was pretty much all buyers at that time too. And the reason everyone always asked me how I did it, it was because I had gone through a really bad divorce, and my husband left me and had an affair, multiple affairs actually, I found out later. But anyway, and I had two small kids at age 3 and 5, and we had just bought in a brand new house, drained bank accounts. And so I was a teacher at the time, just went into real estate, and I had to like really make it or break it because my goal was to take care of my kids. So the whole driving force at that time was the girls, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like just making sure I could keep them safe, keep them in their house, keep them solid. And the way I do it now is a lot different. And I think that with any business model, you have to figure out how you can still sustain a business in real estate or not, and still be able to make money. And that's where most agents, and quite frankly, any professional has trouble, because we've never been taught marketing, right? And I love marketing. I specialize in marketing. I have another 2 Comma Club award coming, and that means that I have created 4 different funnels that have made over $1 million from marketing, right? And so how do we stand out amongst the crowd and position ourselves as the expert, as local professionals, as agents, as lenders, to where if we're not like on the phone cold calling, if we're not door knocking, if we're not at open houses, if we're not doing these things, how do we still sustain a business? And I do it through what I call attraction-based marketing. And I learned this technique from studying what the Fortune 500 companies do. And what they do is they look at they offer value, they give support, they give advice. As a local professional, whether you're in real estate or a lender or any type of local professional, you want to be the go-to person your community thinks of, anything real estate or your profession related and community related. Now, how are we able to do that? How are we able to break down barriers, get in front of people? And that's where most people have trouble, is that they aren't marketing correctly. And so how I've done this is through the use of video. And not just video, but making sure that when I utilize video, it's actually being seen, because many people finally understand that video is really important. But what's more important than even doing video is being able to get that video in the eyes of people. How are you getting that video to be seen? How are you targeting people? How are you retargeting people? How are you making sure that you're giving relevant content to people, answering their questions, solving their problems, giving them advice, giving them tips and tricks, being that resource for the need and the solution to the problems that they have? That's where it gets tricky. And that's where I've really been able to specialize in. And so that I am top of mind awareness all the time, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I totally get that strategy, that philosophy, and not a lot of people, I think, try it for some reason. So like, what do you think the number one reason is why people don't try it more?
Because, well, one big reason is agents, especially, they don't want to invest in their business, right? We can make more money. I mean, when I was at the best part of my real estate career, I was doing $1.8 million with me, and an assistant and transaction coordinator. Now I still buy Zillow leads. I spend Facebook ads. I spend money on that, right? And like right now, I think we're at around, $18,000 a month at buying ad spend and that type of thing, from Zillow, from Ylopo, from Facebook ads. But the return on investment on that is crazy. And even though you can't always see it, like for example, what I tell people is I can run an ad, right? That might be a lead generating ad or not, but because I have so much exposure on Facebook, on these platforms that sellers and buyers are on, because I'm developing a relationship with them, they see me as the local authority, and my referrals go up. My past clients remember me more. I'm getting business just from being seen. And I can't exactly say, hey, this lead came because they downloaded my book, or this lead came because they, requested a CMA. This one came because they opened a open house list, or whatever that lead bag that I might be providing is. When you properly distribute content, I call it the 8 C's. When you commit to consistently producing content correctly, okay, you're more likely to convert your clients because you've made a connection with them, right? So the idea is, people, in order to be known, you need to be seen, you need to be heard. And what I've been able to do is like I'm an expert in real estate. I've sold over 2,000 homes, but if nobody knows that because I'm not getting my message out there and being visible, it doesn't make a difference if I sold 2,000 homes, right? The reason why I'm on your podcast and the reason why you were on mine is because I've listened to you guys. I've watched your stuff. I've listened to your podcast. I wanted you on mine because of that, because you positioned yourself as the authority figure. You read my book. You've positioned me as the authority figure. You want to help your listeners. That's why I'm here. Because I'm consistently producing content correctly, making a connection, right? Now I'm going to convert more. And that's what people need to understand. No one likes to do it, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I was nervous as heck to do my first podcast. I still get nervous sometimes. You remember standing up at Brokers Tour because I hate being in front of people, even though no one believes me because I'm super outgoing, but I don't like being that center of attention. I used to be like, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's the address? You know, I mean, I hated it. You have to learn to adapt your behavior to meet your clients where they're at. Your clients are online, right? Your clients are online. 98% of people go online before they ever start to look for a home. 100% of people go online before they buy anything. According to Forbes, buyers are 64% more likely to want to work with you when they've seen a video on you. You're a product, you're a service, you're marketing yourself. Start marketing yourself correctly on the platforms people are on. Do it through video so they can get to know you, like you, and trust you, right? When you do this right, you're attracting the right client, you're detracting the wrong one. So you start to enjoy what you're doing more because the people you're attracting are better. I mean, if I gave you the stats on video, it would really pretty much create, it's just amazing. There's more video content uploaded in 30 days than there has in the past 30 years from every major network, ABC, NBC, CBS, Lifetime. I mean, all of them, right? You know, people are inserting content constantly. And according to Impact B&D, video marketers get 66% more qualified leads than not, right? Having videos on landing pages increases conversion rates by 80%, okay? This is crazy. 74% of homeowners say that they are more likely to list with an agent who utilizes video, but only 4% of agents are utilizing YouTube. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Only 4%?
4%. 4%.
What are the stats on, do you know? I mean, maybe you do, on like how many agents use video on Facebook, Instagram, other platforms? Okay, so what we have found, because I've done extensive research on this, and what we found, the NAR says that 16% of agents are utilizing social media and that type of thing, right? But from what I found from my own research, less than 1% are doing it correctly. What that means is they might be posting on their Facebook page, posting on their business page, right? But they're not utilizing the back end. They're not learning how to, they're not using Facebook's ads manager. We just use Facebook, let's say. They're not learning how to properly target people, how to retarget people, how to create lookalike audiences. They're doing it, but no one's seeing them. And here's why. Facebook, Instagram, these platforms want you to pay to play. You need to break through their algorithm. The only way you break through their algorithm is, number one, having a viral video, which happens like 0.01% of the time, right? Or you pay. You pay them for their algorithm to find your ideal customer, to bring your customer to you. When people utilize Facebook and they just put it on their Facebook page, Dan, only their friends and family are seeing them. They're only being shown to people who are already engaging with them. Our goal is to be seen by people who are not engaging with us. Like, I don't know if I want to show you something, you're gonna freak out, but like when we do a video, our average watch time from a video that we produce is anywhere from like 250 hours to like 555 hours of watch time on a property video. Okay, so imagine when I go to a listing presentation, I say, Mr. and Mr. Seller, did you know that according to the National Association of Realtors, 67% of buyers will walk through a home that they see online? Well, guess what, Mr. Seller? Here are our stats. We get over 120,000 views on every property. This shows we've got 8,000 clicks. On this house right here, it shows that we had 555 hours of watch time. This one shows 357 hours. This one shows, 248 hours. When you could show that to a seller, that's how you get a 6% commission. That's how we get, 99% of our listings we go on, because we show that we are different, we are unique, and we show them why it's so important. So we don't just tell them why, we show them why they should be hiring us, right? And that's why most agents are failing, is because number one, they're not investing in their training.
They don't want to invest in their business, and they're afraid, and they think they can't be learned. They're not adapting to technology, right? But we have to, because think about the travel agent. The travel agent is no longer in business because they did not adapt. Think about Amazon. Amazon took over, all these different stores. Think about Toys R Us. It's gone because they did not adapt to the change. We have to be willing to show up where people are in the manner that they're consuming.
Which is online. And I agree 100% with you. Like you gotta push the videos out paid. Like organic is, it's just not the same. Like on my Instagram page, I'm lucky if I get like 1% of people to like, one of my posts. Like they don't even push it out to your followers really that much. Like the organic is very, very tough, with the exception of LinkedIn and then TikTok if you're, on that. Like they organic works there. But but on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like you gotta pay to get those views for sure.
Well, and then you have to know the strategy, right? So like, for example, we teach the strategy behind it. And the strategy is to be seen as giving value, being an expert. People always want to jump into bed before they've ever dated, right? So they're like, give me your information, give me your email, give me your phone number. No, you've got to position yourself as the leader first. You've got to get them to trust you, to like you. You've got to help them. You've got to give value to them. But imagine once they've done that, you bring them through this process. You're constantly producing content in front of your community, so they're always seeing you. Then you're seeing, hey, this group of people has watched this entire video. It's a seller video. Then I'm going to retarget more seller content to them, more seller content, right? I'm going to bring them to a landing page that has like 50 videos all about selling, and they're going to get to know me. I'm going to send them a copy of my book, The Savvy Seller. I'm going to drop a copy of my book off at their house. Now I'm going to then ask them if they'd like a market evaluation. And now that I've brought them through this process the right way based upon a strategy that I have, now they're more likely to say, yes, I want to be able to get, I love a market evaluation. Now when you're calling people, they're actually answering the phone because they feel like they know you already. You start to convert more because you've made a connection. They trust you. You start to get more referrals because people are seeing you all the time. I mean, it works just full circle in your business.
Yeah. So you're just getting in front of people, talking to them, warming them up before you just come in and ask them to go on a date or to go home with you or whatever. So
yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of agents are kind of afraid of this strategy because I think some of them just don't want to get on video. Like they have this fear of how they'll look or sound. And, I remember if I look, it's like anything, you got to just get over that, push through the fear to grow. If I look back at what I was doing a year ago or even like 6 months ago on video, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I look so terrible. Like, but you got to get the reps in to get better. And another thing I wanted to kind of point out, you mentioned earlier, is you attract people that want to work with you, you repel those that don't. And I think kind of hand in hand with the being afraid to do it, like a lot of agents or people just get upset if people don't like it. But I actually think that's a good thing because that's probably the person you don't want to work with, right?
So true. It's so true. I mean, like even in my coaching community, everyone is always saying how we have such a great culture, how everyone is so helpful, how everyone wants to just give. And it's because I've attracted that type of person. We also have a no asshole policy, so that also helps. But if we can tell someone's going to be a jerk, we don't let them in. I mean, we're really strict about it too, because our culture is so important to us. But, no one likes to do video. I mean, no one, if you say you like it, you're kind of weird, but I have to tell you, that's how you look. That's how you sound. That's how, you come across to people, and you just have to, just like riding a bike, just like kissing for the first time, just like that first time you wrote that contract and it took you 7 hours to write. Now you can write it in 10 minutes. You will learn. And, we have a lot of strategies to teach people to get comfortable, to get over that fear. And also understand that you don't need to be perfect. Some of our, videos that are not polished actually convert higher than ones that do. You don't need to have the best mic. You don't need to have the best camera. All you need is your phone. That's it, just your phone, and you've got to get over yourself. If you can just, one thing I tell people is take it off of you and think about how you're helping people, how you're serving people. And I want you to think about this. This is going to hit home for people. Think about how many opportunities you are losing because you are too scared. So let's just say you just lose one. If you could sell one more home a month, because you started getting out of your head, adapting what you're doing, trying to be more comfortable with the technology. For me, that's 12 grand a month. That's $144,000 a year. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors and other studies, they say that if you properly stay in front of your client, you do a good job, and they remember you, that should turn into 8 to 10 more deals over the lifetime of your career. That's $144,000. Multiply that times every single opportunity you're missing out on. I mean, there's a reason why I'm spending 10% of my time.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So you have to learn. Anything can be taught. Anything can be taught for anybody. And the excuses I've heard from everyone, my town's too small, my town's too big, there's already a top producing agent. We have agents from across the country beating out newer agents, beating out agents that have been in the top for the past decade, because they're going in and they're showing that they have the competitive edge, they're different, and they've already attracted the right client, right? But once they get there, now we give them the tools to go knock it out of the park in addition to that. So it works, but you have to be willing to change your mindset. Just because we've been told to do the same things all the time doesn't mean there's not a more effective, efficient way to reach the masses. I mean, imagine 555 hours of watch time. Imagine how many open houses I would have to do to have that many eyes on me.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like a year.
Per video.
What were you doing before, video and digital marketing? I think you said you've been in the top 1% like the last 18 years or so. So digital video hasn't been around that long, at least at this level. So what were you doing before, and like what caused the switch, or when did you make that switch?
So one of the years, remember I told you 18 out of 19. So one of the years I was like doing all short sales and foreclosures. Okay. But how I got those short sales and foreclosures was, number one, I wrote a book on short sales. And so I got that book out there, sent it to asset managers, did all that. And so being an author of a book just automatically in any profession gives you credibility. But I was making sure that if everybody else was doing something, I was trying to do things differently. So for example, while agents were doing black and white flyers back then, I was doing 4-page colored brochures. I was putting my listings on TV. I was going and making like a CD and putting like 50 pictures on a CD and putting that on the signs. So I was always trying to make sure that whatever people were doing, I wasn't doing the same things everyone else was. I would do what people did, but I would try to enhance it and make it better. So you want to try to find your blue ocean. And what I mean by that is that most of us we're in a red ocean with a bunch of sharks, and that's how we're going to get eaten because there's lots of blood, right? But when you find your value add, what can you do to make yourself stand out, have a competitive edge, take what everyone else is doing and enhance it? That's how you can become more successful. And I've just always tried to study the market, kind of be ahead of things if I could, look what everyone else is doing and see how I can enhance it. And one of the big ways was by looking at other industries, right? Like I've only had one coach in real estate, and I didn't keep them for very long because they were just teaching all the same things. I've had coaches that are like digital marketing coaches, social media coaches, like mindset coaches that could business development coaches. I've always tried to put other aspects of that didn't have anything to do with real estate and bring them into my real estate business.
Yeah, I like that. So and that's something, I learned from Tony Robbins as well. Like he used to say, if you do what everyone else is doing better, you'll make good money. But if you can find something that no one else is doing, right? Like go to other industries and bring that like take what's working best there and bring it into the real estate industry. Like you're going to have the whole ocean to yourself, as you said.
Yep. Like for you're doing this podcast, right? Think about if agents would have their own podcast. People will listen. I mean, people will listen to you, and then they worry about, what am I going to talk about? There's hundreds of things to talk about. It doesn't even have to be real estate, right? It can be hacks that you've done, a great book that you've read, a business, how marketing things that are working for you. It can be about real estate. So what we try to do is we try to really be the community expert, meaning we interview local restaurants. We talk about, the best taco place in town. Hey, here's where you can do an Easter egg hunt. I mean, it's about being the real estate expert, letting them get to know you, being the community expert, and not being afraid to be yourself. The number one shows on television are reality-based TV shows. People's heads are down. They're in everyone else's business. They're fascinated by other people. Let people into your world. Instagram is your own Instagram stories is your own little reality TV show. Let me just show you how easy it is right now. Hold on a second. I'm going to do something right here with you. It's simple. Hey everyone, I'm super excited. I'm here with Dan. He's an amazing kick butt rock star real estate agent. He also has his own podcast, HyperFast Agent. I'm being interviewed right now. Super excited. Dan, good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's a rock star. Bye everybody. Okay, that was simple, right? I mean, it's about, now I'm going to put that on my Instagram story. I'll tag you. It's about just letting them see what you're doing. Now, I didn't say, hey, I'm an awesome realtor, but I'm being interviewed on HyperFast Real Estate Agent. Now my community knows, oh, she's being interviewed on HyperFast Agent, right? Without me saying that I'm great, I'm showing them that I'm great. Right? Makes sense, but I'm also then bringing them into my life. And that wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. Who cares?
Yeah, no, that's really what I love. And I think stories, either on Facebook or Instagram and going live, like are really good ways for people to practice, because I think when you're making the stories, it's just kind of a raw, unedited look in your day. And when you're live, obviously they know it's live. So I think there's more forgiveness, if you will, or a lower expectation that it's going to be this like perfect high quality, like TV, kind of studio pitch or whatever. So I think for people that aren't comfortable, like just doing live video or getting on stories is a great way to get the reps in, get the practice.
It's another good strategy too. And you're totally right. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Do this. If you want to make more money, okay, start sending 10 video text messages every single day to your past clients, sphere of influence, friends, people you meet at the store, friends of friends, somebody who comments on something on your Facebook page, and don't ask them for business. Just say, hey, it's Krista. Go on their social media page, see if they like what's happened in their life. Maybe you saw that they had an anniversary or birthday. There's someone off to college, and just go, hey, it's Krista. I just wanted to let you know I saw Johnny went to college today. Congratulations. That's so cool. I was just thinking about you, wanted to say hi. Boom. Hit send. Don't ask for a referral. Don't tell them you're a real estate agent. By you doing 10 of those a day, I guarantee you'll sell 12 more homes this year. Promise. But you got to do it consistently, because people then are reminded. They like the fact that you sent it. No one else is doing it. You're making a connection, right? Go through your phone and be like, oh, I'm going to call. Just go through your contacts, 10 a day. You'll pick up more business that way.
Yeah, no, that's a great strategy. I mean, that's easy to do too. And probably, 10 of them would take you like 15 minutes maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah, right? First it takes like 20 and then it takes like 5. By the time you're done, it just gets easier and easier and easier. But the results that come from it are insane. Yeah, no,
I agree. Like I take my top 50 past clients and just like once a month I'll go through and record the videos, and then we'll do them out through Facebook Messenger or something usually. Yes. But anything like that that's just short, quick, and like you said, you don't even have to talk about real estate, and it'll just naturally bring in the referrals because they feel more connected, and it's just raising awareness of you in that person's mind. And like they already think of you as a real estate agent if you're their past client. Like when my past client who's a doctor calls me, I think, oh, he's a doctor, like, but he doesn't tell me I'm operating on someone today, like if you know anyone that needs a surgery, I'd really appreciate you sending them my way. Like that just doesn't happen. But if I did, I would naturally be like, yeah, I know a good orthopedic. Here's his info, right?
Yeah, and here's the cool thing: when you're properly continuing to consistently market this way, then they know you're in real estate because they're being reminded of it all the time, right? And that's what a big mistake people make is they forget sometimes. They forget about you. I mean, I just built a house a year and a half ago. I loved my blind lady. She was amazing, like my blinds, And somebody just asked me for her information. I could not remember her name. I don't have her contact information. I couldn't refer her because she has not continued to market to me, right? You've got to make it to where they can't forget about you.
Yeah, no, you got to make it easy for them, like reduce the friction. And one of the ways to do that is just to get in front of them and communicate to them in a bunch of different ways. And, video is one of the best ways because they see you and, it's also very, or I should say, like very not intruding. Like they don't have to respond. Like they can see the text message, feel the connection, or see the Facebook, message if you send it that way, and like they don't have to respond or pick up the phone, but they can feel like they dialogued with you or connected with you.
Yeah. And then everyone always says like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. People love it. They love it. And I know sometimes there's workflows that you can do. Like we've got workflows and we do ones, that are automatic. But when you say somebody's name and you refer to something that happened in their life that's special, they do well. I don't know. So I've got this challenge that I do, and it's called 3clientsin30.com. So the number 3 clients, in30.com. So 3clientsin30.com. We have 2 challenges a month, and we actually teach agents this strategy and professionals this strategy from across the country. The average agent picks up 2 clients during this challenge. It's a $100 challenge, right? They get coaching with me for 2 weeks for $100. And we give them like mindset strategy. We teach them how to start doing video, get them comfortable. And imagine that we've had people pick up 6 clients, and they will say it's just from what they're learning in this challenge. But the average person picks up 2 because
wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that's like they spent $100 and got probably, I don't know, 15, 20K of commission. It's pretty good ROI.
Yeah. Well, we do it like that for a reason, because my goal is to get them kind of in and get to know me, and then them to say, wow, she's doing this for $100. Now I want more. Right. And so we give them, we get them, it's awesome. It helps with their mindset. It's huge on mindset, huge on teaching them to do strategies that are a little different. They're easy and they're replicatable. They can put into their business. But the problem people have is that it's consistency, right? And continuing to do it and to be reminded, because we're so used to going back to our habits. There's actually this study, it's called Change or Die. And they took people that were going to die if they didn't change their lifestyle. The doctor said, you have to change what you're doing or you're going to die, right? There was 2 different groups. In one group, after a year, 90% of people went back to their old lifestyle. They would rather die than change their behavior because it's difficult to change our habits. Then there was another group that had coaching, that had accountability, and that were in this group with like-minded people, right? So coaching, accountability, and they were in a group with people like them. After a year, 80% of those people changed. They made that change, which means that you're 7 times more likely to be able to change your behavior and do it consistently when you have coaching, when you have accountability, and you're with other people that are doing it with you. I mean, you're 7 times more likely, right? So it just goes to show us it's very difficult to change our behavior. It can be done, but the likelihood of it actually happening is so much better when they hire someone like yourself or like me to help them get there.
That's insane. I mean, it's like the numbers are like flipped there. Like
I know, yeah. Go look it up. Change your guy. Read about it.
That's crazy.
I tell my students that all the time. I'm like, hey, you need help, right? And why not? Everybody. Tony Robbins says, if you always do what you've always done, you're going to always get what you've always gotten, right? So if you've been trying and your business isn't changing, then change your business. And why not learn from someone like yourself or myself and fast track? Before I found the right coach, I was trying to break into the coaching for 2 years, and I couldn't do it. I spent, over $50,000, hired the right coach, and he was able to help me get from 0 to, $7.4 million in 25 months. Because I hired someone that had done it. I learned from, all the things that he did wrong, he taught me not to do. The things he did right, he taught me to do, right? And so it's really, really important.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like coaching, learning from others, having mentors, like it just shortens the time that it takes you to get there, and then helps you stay there once you are. So I totally agree with that. I'm curious to get your take on, like, what's the path? An agent starts out new to the industry, gets coaching, starts doing your programs. Like what do you think that the typical path is, and like how do they get from that new agent starting out to being someone that can run a team or have enough business to have a few people so that they're not doing every transaction? Because that to me is like the ultimate goal. Like, I know there's some heavy hitter, like solo agents out there that do tons of deals, but to me, you're giving up like the one resource that we all have a very limited amount of, and that's time, right? So like, what's the path for people, as you see it, to get to that level where they've got enough business to to have enough people, maybe not a ton of people, but enough that they don't have to spend like all of their nights, weekends, and time like actually doing the business. They can kind of step back a little.
I love that question. So before I got into coaching, I didn't work weekends or nights ever. I mean, ever. Like maybe once a month because somebody begged me and they just couldn't. I made them change their schedule to come to me, and they did it because they knew that I had a skill that was unlike other people. The reason they knew that I was, so I believe that you can go into, if I was to go into any industry in any city, right, I could be in the top within a year from the strategy. It's because we've had agents go from 2 deals to 63 deals in 20 months, or to go from 2 deals to 24 deals in 12 months, right? We've had top agents go from, like big time agents, go from 108 deals to almost 200 in a year, and then go from 108 to 293 in 2 years from this strategy. And now they're able to walk away from their team. The hardest part though is for the team. So let me give you an example. When I first left to go into coaching and I wasn't showing up anymore, we went from selling I did 154 deals that year myself in 2017. Was it 17 or 16? And then when I left, my team did 101. Okay. And then last year we only did 78. But it was because I had to get my team to believe that people were not hiring me. They were hiring my process, right? Like right now we've got like 21 listings. So my team is like, we're totally back. You know what I mean? But they were like, they want you, Krista, they want you. And I'm all, they don't want me. They want my process. I'm the leader of the ship. I'm the one that's making sure that my processes get done. You guys are the ones that are helping with that process. So a couple of things, if you're a team leader or you're somebody who you're doing well or you want to do well. Number one, understand that you can beat out a top agent by having strategies and having a system that shows that you're more valuable because they are still using old school style techniques. So when you can go in there and show them why you're a better agent because you're utilizing marketing strategies that are relevant to this century and how you're going to expose their home to massive amounts of people to get them more money and better terms, you'll be able to break and be ahead of that agent, right? You'll be able to beat that person. You'll be able to do well. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little bit of time, but once people start seeing you, and you don't even have to have any experience or have any listings. We have an agent that got voted the best agent in her town. Like literally it was a true thing, top agent, and she hadn't even sold a house yet because they were seeing her content. They were seeing her show up as the leader because she was utilizing these strategies, right? Now, if you want to step back, as long as you have the system and processes in place and you're still the face, or you can help your team members be the face, I would recommend having you still be the face, because if you're paying the marketing budget to blast somebody else's face out there, you're hurting your business, right? So then now you're helping promote them. You want to promote yourself, and then you get the systems and the processes in place so that when you send your team for you and they show up on those appointments, they don't care because they know that you still can deliver that value, right? That's how you can start to walk away. So, I mean, we'll sell over 100 homes again this year. I know we will. We're crushing it right now but it took me a little bit of time to get my team trained, right? To get them to understand they don't need me. That's where we kind of sunk a little bit. And also, another thing that happened was I was so focused on my coaching that I didn't realize that as I was making these transitions, my team quit doing the things that I teach to do. They weren't running my ads. They weren't doing it right. They weren't doing, some of these techniques that I see. So when I realized that, because I didn't have my finger on the pulse, my fault, right? Now that we are again, we're like quickly going back up. So it's definitely manageable. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of good things in there I just want to point out. One is I liked how you said up front that you even before the team, you were getting people to meet with you like during the hours that you wanted to work.
Yep. Which
I think is a result of this strategy, because when you get in front of people as the local expert, right, you just command that authority. And I think this again is where your strategy kind of diverges from the old school method, and that old school model of just one agent kind of showing up whenever the buyer or seller needs, like, you're just kind of like an order taker at that point, right? You're not really someone that's providing value outside of something that like a robot could do, or right? I mean, it's fascinating.
Weekends and nights, like it sucks having to work. And just because you've been taught that you have to do all these things, like so if you're, I'm not saying that open houses don't work. I'm not saying that door knocking doesn't work. It works. But what I'm saying is just because it's always been done, it doesn't mean there's a more effective way to get in front of people. Do you know that we tell our sellers that you do open houses? Less than 7% of open houses sell with, according to NAR, from open houses and a sign. So that means that 3.5% of houses sell with an open house. I tell them less than 3.5% of homes sell with open houses, Mr. Seller. The reason why agents are doing them is because they have not utilized digital marketing strategies because they're uneducated. It does not work. It's working for them. And they always say, oh my God, I hate open houses. I don't want to do them anyways. And they're happy. And then we show them how we're still having multiple offers. We're selling for above list price. They love it, right? So you have to start training people and letting them see that you are the expert. They will wait for you. They will adjust their schedules just like they do for their doctors, for their attorneys, for their CPAs. They take time off work to go 9 to 5. They will do it for you as well when you can position yourself as the authority figure and show your value add, right? And this will work. It works for agents in small cities and big cities. It takes a little bit more time sometimes in bigger cities, especially with the special ads category problems that Facebook is now having. They've changed the way they're doing it, and we've found ways to work around it, which takes a little bit longer. But it works, and it works really, really effectively, right? But now the idea too is now once you get in front of people, now how do we make sure that I'm able to deliver? How do I make sure that I then can go in there and show them now, here's why I'm the right agent? And we set that up by just making sure that, again, we're doing things differently. So for example, before my team even goes on a listing presentation, okay, I send a 17-minute video that talks about all of the strategies that we do, right? And so people, no matter what, if they're interviewing multiple agents, they always meet with us. They will not meet with us, right? Because they're seeing what I'm doing. And I tell them, hey, my team members are going to come. Please understand that it's the exact same thing as having me, but they're going to show up because my job in this whole position is to make sure that we're doing all these things that we're saying that we can do. And a lot of times people will try to use the fact that I have a team or that it's not me. And I'll say, you don't want me because it's impossible to do this kind of marketing as one person, right? I hire specialists that specialize in doing these strategies, and that's how we're able to get your home in front of people. So we send that video. Then we drop off in person a marketing plan that backs up everything that we've talked about in the video. Then I email through a workflow a copy of my book, The Savvy Seller, What to Expect When Selling Your Home. Then I drop off a copy of my book. So I make sure that I'm doing all these things that no one else is doing before my team even shows up, that shows that we are different, right? When somebody asks for a home evaluation, we have home evaluation ads that we run. We don't just email the CMA, we drop off, we hand deliver a CMA that looks like this, right? So we show up with our presentation like this, and then we hand deliver one of these, right? So they get this delivered to their door. When somebody gets this delivered to their door, they're like, wow, you just sent this to my door when I asked for an evaluation. You didn't just email me. You know how much business I've gotten from doing this for the past 7 years? We have gotten so much business from doing this because people know that that's the level of service they're going to get the entire time when they work with me. And we teach our students how to do all this too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you just described a pretty robust process. And I think a lot of solo agents, again, they're kind of taught by this old school method of like, you know, the business is you and everything has to run through you. And then these agents sort of get in this mindset that they're not replaceable, but the sellers want the sellers want you. And I think really if you think about like the traditional agent or the top solo agent, like, you know, as a seller, would you rather have, you know, that person or that process that you just described? Like that's, yes. You know, I'm sure if you whiteboarded that process out, it would look crazy. There's like a lot of elements to it, but you know, that's a very repeatable process. So you just have to implement it. We
have workflows and systems. So we have workflows and systems. So we use RealVolve. All of our students get our RealVolve workflows. So it, like, everything is mapped out. If A happens, you do B, C, and D. If D happens, you do E, F, G, right? Where RealVolve automatically sends text message reminders, video reminders to the agents, to the lenders, to the inspectors, to my seller, to the buyer. Everything is in a workflow and it's a process. So you go to a computer and it says, oh, today I've got to do these things, right? It's like all automatic, so you can't miss it. When you have the right systems and workflows in place, you have more time. We have agents telling us, oh my God, I'm selling more real estate than I've ever sold in my career, and I have more time than I've ever had, and I'm enjoying myself again. Like that's probably the most common thing that we hear is that they're enjoying it, right? Not at first. At first they're like, holy crap, this is so much, and they go crazy because it's a lot. But anything can be taught over time, you know?
Yeah, no, I think it's the same as like making videos for the first time. Like if you don't have this in place, it's a little bit of a grind to do. And in the short term, it's not going to like change the business that you get next month. But like once you get it up and running, it's going to make you more efficient and allow you to focus on the parts of the business that you enjoy or that are more important for the client, which then I think actually adds more value to your client. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it works really good.
Yeah, well, before we wrap up, I always do a hyper-fast round. So I got a couple rapid-fire questions.
Oh, I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah, I usually surprise people with it. So.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, what's your biggest piece of advice for a new agent?
Mindset. Like just keep your mind intact. Believe that you can do anything. Don't be intimidated by the top producing agent. Show your value add. Find your blue ocean and get out there and start doing videos.
All right, biggest piece of advice for that top producing agent that you just described.
Oh, stop. Don't be stuck. Don't think that just because you've always been the top agent that you're going to remain that way. If you don't utilize digital marketing, technology, innovation, you will be superseded. You will be surpassed.
All right, what was your biggest real estate challenge and how did you overcome it?
Oh, probably it was when I was doing only short sales and foreclosures. I remember I lost a listing presentation. I called them to find out why, which by the way, if you don't get the client, you should always call and ask for some constructive criticism because you want to increase your business. And I always do that. And I always did that. And they called me the foreclosure queen. And I was like, oh my God, I am the foreclosure queen, right? And so that was when I started researching what Fortune 500 companies do. And I started changing my business model to what I call engagement marketing, which you talk about in my book, which teaches this exact strategy. How do you give value and advice? And I changed from being the digital marketing queen, from the short sale queen to the digital marketing queen. So the advice was that I didn't see it coming soon enough. I should have made the transition sooner because that's the year that I went from selling like over 100 homes to 12 because the market adjusted. And that was the year I didn't make it in the top 1%, right? But then after utilizing this strategy, I was quickly up over 100 again, or close to it.
What about the biggest piece of advice for real estate investors or investing in real estate?
The strategy I just talked about, 100% works for you too. Find the problems that people are having that don't want to list with a normal agent. Show how you can solve those problems. Get the information out there correctly so they actually see it. And don't think that this strategy doesn't work. It works for any industry.
All right. Where do you see yourself and your business in 5 years?
The #1 trainer in the world.
All right. Well, that's it for the HyperFast round. Before we wrap up, do you want to tell our listeners, maybe about your coaching program or how they can connect with you or the 30-day challenge or whatever you'd like.
Thank you for that, Dan. So we basically, obviously, you can go to KristaMashore.com, but I highly recommend everyone taking the challenge. It's affordable. It'll get you to see if you even like me or not. And that's 3clientsin30.com, 3clientsin30.com. And obviously you can always get my book, Sell 100 Homes a Year. It's on Amazon. And that tells you what we coach in our coaching program. We teach people how to do everything that I've just talked about. There's various levels, but the best way to even see if you even like what I have to offer or to help you would be by taking the challenge. And it's very affordable. So 3clientsin30.com.
All right. So 3clientsin30.com. And your main website you said was just KristaMashore.com.
Yep. Just KristaMashore.com.
All right. And same handle or name on social media and all that good stuff.
KristaMashore.com everywhere. We're on YouTube. Facebook is where we specialize in. We're now working on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me, Dan. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pumped. I'm excited for all the value that people will get out of listening to this, watching this, however they're consuming it. So thank you again, Krista, and to everyone listening and watching. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.